Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Jackson. I'm the CEO for Junior Achievement of Southern Nevada, and I have the great honor of introducing you today to Alec Ingold. He is a fullback for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's entering his third NFL season, and he's also a 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award nominee. And I'm going to turn it over to Alec at this point and let him share some awesome information with you. You will be able to use the raise your hand feature, and we will let you have access to be able to talk and ask your question. Thanks and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that intro. Guys, I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. As she said, this is my third year in the NFL, second year in Las Vegas going on, and I'm really excited to be out here. I think the ability for you guys to go through this experience, JA Inspire, you're going to hear some great information. And the one thing I want you to take away from this specific talk is that everyone's balance is a little bit different. What do I mean by that? I don't mean like when I'm playing football and I hit somebody, my balance, I can get off balance. I'm not talking about balance in a checkbook. I'm saying your balance in time, effort, energy, and emotion. I think is very important to understand the balance in your resources is going to be very different than the person sitting right next to you. So when you're going through this event and you're able to see all these other people and all these other information and all these booths where you can learn so much information from all these great individuals, all these great volunteers, understand that information you're going to be taking in is different for each and every one of you. Your balances are different. I'll start with time. The balance of time. It is one of the biggest things that you could master when you're going from middle school to high school to college to the real world. There's so many times in transition, right? Where you're like, oh, I'm a little nervous. Maybe I need to go get a job. Or, I don't know, high school. I don't know what my schedule's going to look like. I don't know what that's going to look like getting from class to class. Maybe it's a bigger school. Or if you're in college, you might be across the country from your family. And you have to find time to call them on a regular basis and still maintain those priorities that you have for yourself, right? When I was growing up, I went to Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's what high school I came from. And if any of you guys follow football, they had an amazing coach called Vince Lombardi. And he always talked about Lombardi time, being 15 minutes early, no matter what your job was, whatever class you were going to, he tried to be 15 minutes early. He went through the entire Packers practice facility and he changed the clocks. He moved them up 15 minutes because he said, if you're on time, you're late. I think that's a great lesson for anybody going through this transition period where, I don't know how I'm going to get to class. I might be a little bit nervous. If you have a balanced amount of time and you're able to manage your time wisely, you're able to walk into that high school ready to go. Be able to sit down, maybe talk to your friend for a couple minutes. Whatever that balance looks like is going to be different for each and every one of you. But if you can be a little bit early and you can manage that time, you can own that. Maybe operate on Lombardi time. Be 15 minutes early to a job interview, to something professional that you might be doing. You can then take that opportunity to be like, man, is that Carter? He sat down. He was filling out the job interview sheet. He was here 15 minutes early. He was on time. He was punctual. He looks good. You weren't rushing into that job interview. You weren't running. You're able to be impacting people by your timeliness. And that balance is very important because you don't want to be rushing, right? You don't want to be rushing in there last second. Oh, I just made it on time. Here we go. You have a job interview and your suit's all messed up. When I had to go through a job interview, I made sure I was in there 15 minutes early, shaking the person's hand, having a little conversation with them. Understand that was going to be important and impactful in how I treated people. That was my balance with time. I think everyone can learn a little bit about Vince Lombardi moving that clock 15 minutes up. The entire Green Bay on the outside of Lambeau Field, there's a clock. It's 15 minutes forward. They won a lot of championships being just operating on time, being professional about it. So when you're worried about going into high school or going into college and not knowing how you might not be able to be in Lombardi time, it might not be 15 minutes. Maybe it's 5 for you. Maybe you like taking your time driving down the road. Maybe you like taking your time talking to some friends. It's different from everybody. Next is money. And I have a funny story about money. I told you I'm in the NFL for a couple years now, right? When I was going into that pre-draft, man, I thought I was going to be making money. I thought, ooh, the 6th-round draft pick, I'm starting to see that's $300,000 right there. That's a huge signing bonus. The week before the draft, I went out with my dad and I was looking at all these cars. I was looking at the Mercedes-Benz. I was looking at the Jaguars. Hey, Gavin, why don't you unmute? What's your dream car? What would you drive if you could drive anything in the world right now? What would you drive? Can we unmute Gavin? There we go. Can you talk, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Dream car. That's a good question. I think it'd have to be a truck because I like being in the outdoors. So probably in the Ford line of the truck department.
Ford Raptor, something like that, something sick.
Ford Raptor, Ford F-350, something like that.
A big one, huh?
Big one.
You know, that's exactly what I was doing. I was going through, I was like, how can I spend this $300,000 as fast as I can on a Mercedes-Benz, you know, whatever it was, I was going to try and get it. And we're going through, I was like, oh, that Jaguar, I don't know, it doesn't look cool. It's that exotic, like, I don't know. And I test drove an Audi. Man, that thing handled well. Oh, $60,000, that's fine. I'm going to make that in a little bit. I go to draft day. I have all my friends, my family. Everyone's around me at that house in Green Bay, Wisconsin that I grew up in, ready for draft day. 6th round comes, no call. Dang. All right, well, maybe it's only like a $70,000 signing bonus. I could still make that work with the taxes and everything. I could still get a sweet car. 7th round comes and goes. No call. I went undrafted. My signing bonus was $10,000, and half of that went to taxes. My entire rookie year, when I was trying to make the Oakland Raiders at the time, I was biking to work. I didn't have enough money for a car. My entire rookie year, I was hitching rides with teammates because I couldn't afford it. Because I was like, man, I really want that Audi, or I really want that Lambo. And that wasn't balanced for me when we were talking about money. So when you're thinking about your dream car and how you can spend money, and you know, oh, I might be getting this job lined up. I can save 6 paychecks and I can make that down payment on a huge car. It's gonna be sick. Understand that you have to have your own balance. You have to have your own needs and wants. And the information you guys are gonna go through in junior achievement, you guys will figure all that stuff out. You'll be able to understand what taxes are and, you know, what a need versus a want is, how to budget. Man, I went from thinking I was up here, I was going to spend all that money right away, to not having any and not having a car. You know, if I would have kept my Nissan Pathfinder, my '05 Nissan Pathfinder that was all rusted out, I would have been good with that. I would have made it to down and back to work. So everyone has a different balance. Everyone has different opportunities to use your money for your needs and your wants. To be able to pay rent first and then figure out what you want after that. The next is your effort. What you're doing with your time and how you're balanced with your effort. And I had a coach tell me one time, he said, you know, Alec, you're always in this microscope. You're always thinking about what's here, what's now, how are you going to accomplish things? And you never pick your head up from that microscope. You're so locked into this daily focus, this daily grind. He's like, that's awesome. But what are you doing it for? He's like, you need to be in that telescope. You need to take a step back and understand where you're going in life. Those transition periods, the areas of unknown that you may or may not have, that telescope can help you get to where you need to go. That can give you a sense of freedom and balance and understand that you have a direction that you're trying to get to. So I'm like 100% microscope, right? I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat this morning, how I'm going to take my supplements, how I'm going to work out as hard as I possibly can. Like, am I going to squat 600 pounds today, or what's the deal? And I never really took a time to take a breath and understand that, why am I trying to put this weight on the bar? Why am I going to work every single day, working my tail off? Is it for my family? Is it for the people around me? Is it for my teachers? Is it for my coaches? Is it for myself? And that answer is different from everybody. Chris, let's unmute you real quick. If you had to balance a telescope and a microscope, what do you think that percentage would be? Let me try and get you here. And put you on the spot, man.
I'd have to make it a 50-50.
50-50. Why do you say that?
Because it's important to have both perspectives.
Are there times where you might see more telescope time versus microscope time, or you think it's 50-50 all the way throughout?
I think you should try to make it 50-50 through all the way out.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I appreciate that. Let's see Jackson. Jackson, you got some time. Let me give your thoughts. What are you thinking about when you're in the telescope?
You are rather open-minded.
Open-minded is big, man. That's huge. You have a journal? Do you think you would ever write something down like, what is my goal in life? Like, what am I trying to get to? You think that's kind of like that telescope mindset?
Yeah.
So let's take that telescope mindset, right? If anybody has a piece of paper at home, write down what that goal is. What is that one thing you want to accomplish in life? What is that one thing that you think that would just make you so happy?
I would
What's
I
that?
would want to be a chef.
You want to be a chef? You want to be like a local chef, or are you trying to, cook down at the Aria, like head chef? Like what is the
Local
what do you
chef.
want? You said what?
Local chef.
Local chef? That's what would make you most happy?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your microscope look like? What are 3 things that you think you could do on a daily basis, a critical decision that you could make every single day to maybe get yourself a little bit closer to becoming a local chef?
Practice cooking.
Okay.
Make a savings for
There you go.
like a restaurant, or try to get into a restaurant.
Okay. And what's one more?
I have no idea.
Maybe watch a cooking show. Maybe see the pros do.
Yeah,
Or
like
hey,
get inspiration for new things.
inspiration for new things. I like it. So that's something that I learned was like, okay, I have a goal, right? Last year I wanted to be the best fullback in the world. So I wrote that down. And then I wrote down the 3 critical decisions that I was going to do on a daily basis. How am I going to get there? Because I'm just a rookie and now I'm a second-year guy. Yeah, I was a Pro Bowl alternate the year before, but how am I going to take that next step? That's a whole year away. What am I going to do on a daily basis? So that first couple months of the off season, I was spending a lot more time in the telescope because I can't work out every single day. Maybe my balance at that time was 80-20. I was 80% in the telescope thinking about how am I going to get there? What am I going to write down? What's the phrase I can tell myself every day to keep myself locked in? And then moving to that microscope, thinking about, man, I can really do this, this, and this on a daily basis so I can get better. So if I wrote down that goal of being the best in the world, being the best fullback in the world, number 1, Pro Bowl, all pro, all that stuff, I had to eat right. That was one of the big things. That's a huge weakness of mine. And I said, I have to get better at receiving. I have to run more routes with Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. I had to go to the park with Nelson Aguilar, run some routes. I got to get better at that. And the third thing was I just needed to show up, and I had to be detail-oriented every single day. I had to bring around a notebook. I had to take notes. I had to learn from the vets. Jason Witten was on the team. I had to learn from him. Those are 3 things I took. And if you notice, I took a strength of mine, which was running routes. I took a weakness of mine, and I took a trait. So if you're still writing something down, if you're focusing on those 3 things, what I said was I'm going to emphasize a strength of mine. So when Jackson's cooking, maybe he loves cooking. So he's going to emphasize that strength. He's going to make the best chicken Alfredo. He's going to keep getting better at that chicken Alfredo recipe he knows. He's going to emphasize his strength. And then maybe Jackson doesn't like getting inspiration. Maybe he thinks that he knows exactly what he wants to do, exactly what he wants to cook. So then he's thinking, maybe I do start watching what some of the pros do. Maybe I do start getting some inspiration from other people. And that could be addressing a weakness. And then a trait is something that you can take with whatever you want. And that's some balance. That's figuring out your microscope, telescope. That's figuring out a balance in your life, your needs and your wants. A balance could be having that time, being 15 minutes early to interviews, to class, being early. Don't just make it, be a little bit early. So let me call on one more person. Let's see. Jesse, I'm gonna allow you to talk here. What is one thing that you would want to accomplish? What's your goal that you wrote down? What's something you want to get done?
Honestly, I kind of am interested in business
Okay.
or yeah, like just business stuff.
Okay, so like what makes you super into business? Like what excites you? What's your favorite part?
Honestly, kind of like besides, like, this kind of sounds like selfish, but besides the money aspect, like talking to people, like talking to like right, like just talking to people, I guess.
Yeah, it's a strength.
Yeah, I like talking to people, so I think it'd be really good for me.
So maybe it's reaching out to 10 people every single day. Text them, see what's up. Maybe it's 10 new people. Maybe it's 10 of the people that you can just talk, you can stay in contact with. Maybe it's reaching out to 10 new people. But it's a strength of yours. That's a critical decision you can make every single day. That can be your microscope. What's your biggest weakness when it comes to business?
Probably doing that, like too scared to like reach out. Probably that too. Like, I love, as much as I love talking to people, I'm kind of like shy to reach out to people.
Like meeting someone, like cold calling, like someone that you don't really know yet?
I guess you could say that. No, I would say more of like reaching out. More like reaching out to someone is like kind of my hardest thing to do, I guess. So like,
Okay.
To like reach out to you would be like hard. Like, he's probably not gonna respond, and
Right.
I'm not like, not to take a leap of faith, I guess. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So you're afraid to take that leap of faith. And I think that is a huge lesson right there. I have a huge fear of not being good enough. That was my biggest fear was, man, if I truly I'm the best version of myself, I'm going through this football thing. If I can just be the best version of myself, I was worried someone wasn't going to tell me I'm good enough. And that happened. That undrafted story I told you, the entire NFL league told me, you're not good enough, dude. You're not worth our draft. That was my biggest fear. So being able to look that fear in the face on a daily basis and do something about it, that's power. Reaching out to one person on a daily basis, facing that fear you have, that weakness, just make it a little bit better. Make it a little bit more regular. You're that much closer to being a better businessman. One more thing, what's a trait that you have that you can just lock in? You can, whether it's business or you end up being a teacher, maybe you're a public speaker. What's one trait that you think you have?
I would say discipline. I could discipline myself when I truly want something, I will discipline myself.
You're locked into it. I love it. That's a huge trait. So whether you're a film producer, you can be disciplined. You can be that guy that's consistent. I heard a quote from Will Smith saying, discipline is true happiness, because then you're consistent. Jesse James can be Jesse James on a daily basis if he's disciplined. And that's another way to say balanced. If you're balanced with your time, you're balanced with your money, your resources, and you're balanced with your goals and your dreams, that vision, that microscope, telescope. If you're balanced, if you're disciplined, you're consistent, Jesse James gets to be Jesse James. That's power right there. I hope you wrote that down. That's big time.
Thank you.
Tatum, what's up? Oh, I can't get Tatum to talk with her hand, but she's raising it. Let's see. All right, Tatum, what do you got?
My question is, if you weren't drafted,
You there?
can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So just to recap, guys, we have balance. That's the one thing I want you to take away from this. Jesse gave us great examples of being balanced and understanding that if he wants to be a businessman, You got to have an ability to take that thing that you're really, really good at, make it a little bit better. You're able to take that weakness and address it, face that fear. What's the worst that can happen? Someone say no? The more you face that fear, the more you address that weakness, the better you can become. And then take that trait, understand what that trait is that you just love about yourself, and understand that you can take that in whatever career, whatever transition, whether it's middle school to high school to college, college to the real world, you have that trait to rely on. That's your safety blanket. That's something that you're just making a conscious decision of every single day. You know, Jackson wants to be a cook, right? He wants to be a chef. He wants to be a local chef. Now he has a game plan. He has a goal that he wrote down. He has 3 things that he can do. He can make a critical decision every single day. So when you're thinking about what your goal is, you're thinking about where you want to go in life. Also think about those 3 critical decisions you can make on a daily basis and keep that balance. Keep that thought of balance in your head because it's different from all of us. So when you're going to all these other booths and you're researching, you're getting all this information from all these pros, all these professionals, try and listen to them. Try and understand what they're telling you because it's going to be different for every single person. Then you're going to be able to take that information and you're going to be able to put it into your own game plan and where you're headed in life. Put it in your telescope, man. Put it in your microscope. Get a game plan. That's what I did to make it to the NFL. And, you know, I did not have the easiest way going undrafted. You know, this last year I broke a couple ribs. I still had to play. I had to find a way to play, strap up for my guys, and make it happen. So we're all going through these struggles. We're all going through our own little journeys. So don't take this information that you're about to learn and try and compare it to the person next to you. Take this information for yourself and understand, what is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson within this? And then take that and put it into your balance of your own life. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have, whether it's NFL, whether it's trying to get that dream car, what car I'm driving now, anything you have written down on your goals. Think about some questions, raise your hand. If you've already talked, you can get on there too and you can keep talking. So I'd love to hear some questions from you guys. We have some in the chat too. Did I buy my dream car? That's a great question. No, I bought a used car that I could get a deal on. It was balanced. I didn't get that brand new Audi or that brand new Lamborghini, but I got a used car. I got a good deal on it. I was able to network a little bit. Maybe I talked to a couple people like Jesse. I found a deal. So I was balanced with finding that new car. What would you do if you didn't get drafted? I did not get drafted. So if I were to get cut, right? If I didn't make it to the Raiders, if they said, you know, you're not good enough to play here. I had a job lined up at Oracle, and that was my balance. I was going to sell software. I had a backup plan. I had that. I went through job fairs. I had to shake a guy's hand, and I had to, you know, they accepted a job offer. So I was going to sell Oracle insurance in Boston, Massachusetts. And, you know, that moment of kind of understanding that could be a great fallback plan. That was balance for me. That gave me an opportunity to go and really chase down this NFL deal. What's your perfect balance right now for telescope and microscope? So, like I said, the first couple of years or the first couple months of the off season, I'm heavy in that telescope. You know, so I'm writing down goals. I'm writing down keywords like legacy that I want to accomplish. And then it's kind of figuring out, okay, I want to write my game plan out. I have to make my critical decisions. How am I going to be the best fullback in the world next year? So right now, I would say I'm 80% in the telescope, 20% microscope. You know, I'm going to keep doing this public speaking. I'm going to kind of figure out what this offseason looks like. And when it's time to ramp up, man, I'm going to transition. It's going to be a different phase. I'm going to be all in on that microscope because I can trust the planning I did before. I can trust the game plan that I wrote out for myself. So I don't have to pick my head up. I don't have to worry about if I'm doing the right thing or not. There's no hesitation. What other quotes helped you get through hard times? I think the biggest quote from Maya Angelou right now is, People, they won't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And so like when I'm going into public speaking, I'm very new at this. I'm learning just like you guys are learning right now. And I'm focusing on giving you guys energy, being authentic with you guys, trying to tell you my life story as best I can, and then also teach you guys some of the lessons that I've had to learn. So I hope that I can make you feel energized. I hope I can make you feel a little bit more motivated, inspired, tied into those goals, tied into balance in your life. Anything I can help. What if I'm not at all sure what I want to do? That's a huge question. That's a great question. I think there's all this worry, right? Like, okay, I need to have a goal. I need to go accomplish that goal. And then everything's going to be great on the other side of that. And that's not always the case. One of your goals could be, I just want to be a great person. I want to be the best person I can be. I want to impact the people around me. Maybe I want to be the best big brother, little sister, whatever that is. So that when you're writing down those critical action plans of just being a better human being, you're preparing for whatever opportunity is out there. You aren't preparing for a specific goal. Maybe you don't know if you want to be a chef or not. Maybe you don't know what you want to be in high school or not. Maybe you don't know what college you want to go to. But you can still focus on being the best version of yourself. You can focus on making conscious decisions to live balanced, to develop those traits that we were talking about earlier. So that when you have that change in heart, when you have a decided heart, I'm like, man, you wake up one morning, you're like, I want to be a teacher. That's it. I got it. You're prepared for that. You're already being the best version of yourself when you walk into a room. Do you think that you should always have more than one backup plan? Once again, I'm going to say balance with that one. It's different for everybody. Some people operate the best with no backup plan. They're just flying by the seat of their pants, hoping everything works out. And that's not me. I need some sort of like plan of action, right? I need to take step A, I need to see A, I need to find B. And once I get to B, I can get to C. That's just how I operate. So whenever you're thinking about, man, I really like this video game thing. Maybe I want to be a Twitch streamer. Maybe you research that. Maybe you develop that idea. Maybe you understand what really that means, what that entails. Or maybe you love artistry and you love canvassing. These guys right here behind me, there is a brand new company that they're just building off the ground, and they're sending canvases that they think in their heart is amazing artwork. And then it explodes, and it's a great business plan for them. So there is business plans. There's hobbies you can have. There's interests you can have. There's backup plans everywhere, but it's based on your balance, your interests, how you're able to accomplish a goal and write something down and go get it. So that's different for everybody, whether you have different interests or the same interests. Everyone works a little bit different. Did you always want to play football? Yes. I was the kid growing up where I was a curly-headed kid that grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, that, man, I just loved playing football. I'd be running around the streets. I was always late at home. Parents were like, you need to be home at 7 now. I'll be over at the neighbor's house. The drive's going to start 6:55. I'm looking at my watch, and we're down by a couple touchdowns. Like, I'm going to play until we can win. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stay out until 7:30 and get yelled at, but at least we won the game. So I always did want to play football, and the NFL wasn't real for me. There was a lot of times like, I was benched in college. I had to overcome that. Going undrafted, like I said already, there's a lot of pieces that I had to try and overcome to get to where we're going. And, it was a tough road, but that was always in my heart what I wanted to do. What percentage of your income do you put aside for a rainy day? That's a great question, Kelly. I try and save every single cent. As soon as I get, what I do right now is anytime I get a paycheck, I put in a bank account, a checking account that I don't even look at. And right there, it goes into different investments that I put up and different retirement plans, all of that. And then from that bucket, from that big bank account that kind of distributes everything, then I'm able to pay myself every month an allowance, so to speak. So that when I have a little Chase bank app, I'm not looking at the big numbers. I already know I'm only using 2, 3, 4, 5% of it, but I can use all of the money that I see in my bank account. So it's just a way, like I said, to plan. And, you know, that's how I deal with my finances. You made your dreams come true. Do you have any advice for others who want to do the same? That's a hard-hitting question. Y'all have amazing questions. Yeah, I mean, there's a moment in everyone's life, and you know, like I said earlier, I always wanted to be a football player, and some people may not know what they want, and when that spark hits, it hits. And I would just say that there's definitely a way to grind for it. There's a way to work for it. A lot of people have role models, right? And Jesse is a testament. He said, you know, I don't really feel like reaching out to role models. Like I don't want to reach out to people and then be rejected, right? That fear of reaching out. The people that you look up to right now, whether it's the NFL player, whether it's your teacher, whether it's a super successful Instagram business, whatever you would love to do, accomplish growing up, there's a blueprint for how that person got there. You know what I'm saying? Like Jeff Bezos running Amazon, all of his information is out on the web. You can look at how hard he had to grind, the risks he had to take, the lucky breaks that he made, the smart decisions that he had, the busts that he had. You know, all of that information is out there on Google. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure you can plan so that your dream can become a goal. Once you write down on a piece of paper and you have those critical action steps, then you're able to find that balance of what do I want? What does my balance look like? And then you can go try and make those dreams come true as best you can, living a balanced life. Was there a time you struggled, but it made you stronger? Work harder for the goal you want to achieve. Oh, man. I didn't really open up about this undrafted story, but, you know, going undrafted is tough. And, you know, there was a moment where I had to tell my friends and family that were there at that draft day and say, you know, I didn't make it. And that's hard. That's something I failed. I showed up and I was short. I came up short. I was told I wasn't good enough. I told you that was my biggest fear. So yeah, that was hard. And to be able to have the people, the support system in my corner, to be able to pick me up, pat me off, and get back out there, that's what helped me get to where I'm at. So the idea is, you know, you can try and do this all on your own, right? You can try and put your action steps down. You can try and live a balanced life, but who are you going to share it with? Is it going to be your parents? Is it going to be friends, family? Those people are the ones that are able to help you out. And they're the ones that are going to be able to tell you the things you need to hear so that you can keep going. You can keep accomplishing things. And my dad did that for me. We have one more question. I know I missed a lot, but I'm excited to get one more. Did one of your family members play football as well? No. My dad is a big wrestler, right? So he grew up and he was an All-American wrestler. My mom was a cheerleader growing up. So, you know, they're working in the business world now, and my mom's a third grade elementary school teacher. My little sister is a dancer. So yeah, I'm the only football player in the family, really. So, you know, it was something that you kind of have to take a leap of faith. And it's scary, but it was in my heart and it worked out for me. I was able to work hard enough to make it work. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate the questions. I appreciate the feedback. Guys coming on, talking about balance, talking about your goals you're going to write down. So whatever you're doing with this Junior Achievement, this Inspire thing, I hope you just take that information and understand you can take it for yourself and you can say, what is this person trying to tell me? What am I supposed to be hearing right now? And keep that balance in your life with time, with resources, and mentally. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you.
Alec, thank you so much for your time today, and everyone that attended. We really thank you for joining us, and you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And don't quit reaching for your dreams. Keep pursuing them, and take Junior Achievement along for the ride to help you while you do that. Thank you, Alec.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.